Well, hey, pollution solution. Well, hey, pollution solutioners. Welcome to 2022. I want to start the new year out on a planet positive foot. So let's start with the elephant in the room, climate change. What it's about and what we can do about it. The big picture. The science surrounding climate change now is comprehensive and brutally clear. The climate is changing, and our actions have been the cause. And I don't think there's a single citizen that can honestly say that climate change hasn't touched their lives in some way, shape, or form. Either from weather events and storms to extreme heat or cold, sea level rise, or even the pandemic. We've all felt it. Climate change is an intricate, highly interconnected issue, not only scientifically, but socially as well. It's one overall umbrella-like problem that causes a dizzying array of consequences. We're becoming familiar with the environmental consequences, but it also brings to light social and racial inequalities and the consequences this places on our fellow planet mates as a result. Ever heard of Cancer Alley? If not, look it up. Now, I will be honest and tell you initially, I was not aware of how unfairly all of these pollution-making facilities were placed amongst our disadvantaged and diverse communities. But I'm not surprised. I wish humans wouldn't consider fellow humans inferior or expendable in pursuit of the almighty dollar. Anyhoozle. This level of intricacy and connectedness also means climate change is not a one solution solves all kind of a problem. And the exciting thing is that our arsenal of solutions is growing in the best of ways. Clean energy, like solar or wind, among others, is now cheaper than good old faithful oil or gas. Clean transportation is also becoming more commonplace and cheaper than ever before. Technology is learning how to remove carbon from our atmosphere, among other things. Our knowledge of natural systems and how they can be boosted or restored to help is growing. Awareness of climate change and all that comes with it is at an all-time high and growing. Alternatives to plastics are also growing in popularity and availability. There's more political will than ever before to shift in an environmentally positive direction. All of which is really exciting and super hopeful. But there's lots more we can do. There's lots more that we can and need to do in the near future, and we'll need to be careful and conscious not to replace our fossil fuel problem with a different problem. For example, solar panels are a great source of clean, cheap, and renewable energy. The flip side? They still take resources and manufacturing processes to create. And these come with carbon emissions, toxic waste, mining practices, and habitat loss. So we don't want to replace the mining of coal with the mining of silicon, which is the material needed for solar panels, for instance. Electric vehicles also use materials and manufacturing processes that come with carbon emissions, toxic waste, drilling, mining practices, and the inevitable habitat loss. But they also add a toxic batteries disposal into that sort of pollution mix. In the collecting carbon sector, scientists are making progress on a technological process that removes carbon from our air. But it takes a lot of space, a lot of materials, time to build, and room to safely store the collected carbon. And while this is promising, it won't develop fast enough to change the planet's temperature trajectory in the near future. There are also lots of natural ways to collect and remove carbon, like replanting forests. The caveat to this particular solution is that while these new forests are growing, they are taking more benefits and resources from the soil and air than they are able to give back. The give back that will make a solid difference in the climate crisis doesn't really begin until the tree is about 30-ish. So planting, harvesting, and replanting in a short time frame is a process that uses more resources than it ends up giving back. This is how nature works. The really good stuff doesn't come until you're older, stronger, and wiser. So while many areas are making good progress, there's nothing happening fast enough that will do enough individually to achieve the temperature reduction we must aim for our own safety and survival. The shutdown associated with the pandemic has shown us that even with super drastic changes like shutting industry down as we did in 2019, or actually 2020, good Lord, I'm losing track of my years. It is not enough to achieve the goals we have to reach to survive. We'll need a collection of solutions to make the necessary change. And right now, the planet's warming schedule is ahead of our mitigation measures. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is not to scare you, but to motivate you. Because our single greatest resource on this planet, us, 8 billion of us. There are more humans and regular everyday folks than there are scientists and engineers put together. So who can make the most impact? We can. We are the final and most pivotal piece of the climate crisis puzzle. We can demand, with the power of what we buy and how we vote, that industry and government hop to and solve this problem with the help of technology. But if we don't step up and ask ourselves to make the same kinds of changes in our own everyday lives, then we lose. And I don't really want to live through what that looks like. Do you? Humans have to change our consumption habits, but it's hard to know or even think about what the right choice is when you're running all over Timbuktu all day long and grabbing a couple of things for the family dinner on your way home from work. So my goal with the rest of this series is to make it easier for you to make an environmentally responsible choice within your budget and within your busy life. So if you're looking forward to this, give us a shout out, yes, in the comments. If not, tell me what you would look forward to. What would be helpful? Now, before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to all the amazing folks with the Climate Reality Project who put together a wonderful virtual training course that taught me so much and gave me a different perspective on the climate story. These folks are also doing really inspiring work to combat the climate crisis on so many levels. So if you're curious or want to get involved, please visit www.climaterealityproject.org. I also want to give a shout out to PBS and a documentary I saw called Greta Thunberg, A Year to Change the World. And boy, I hope I pronounced her name correctly. And this documentary was about Greta's climate crisis mission in the year of the pandemic. It's a fascinating documentary and point of view, so if you get a chance to see it, I would highly recommend it. All right, everyone, that's all for today. Thanks for diving in. Hit that subscribe button before you leave. Share what you've learned here forward, and I'll see you next time.